All right. This isn't quite yet what everybody loves, but Dustin, Mr. Sleeper Pick over there, Brent Nameco, Fantasy Smack Talk guy over here. I'm just going with our t-shirts. I got nothing.
That's weak.
This is the worst opening ever. I'm not keeping it.
Oh, we could keep it.
You want to keep this? You make me look like a fool?
You're making yourself look like a fool.
We normally cut. Just because we cut once every 4 videos now, at best. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, at least tell them what the video is.
No. How about that?
This is our wide receiver strategy video heading into 2020. It hasn't changed a ton from year to year, but we do want to talk about, just what we're thinking about at the wide receiver position heading into drafts. But check out our cheat sheet draft guide on the website. It is a free download. Who doesn't like free? Get on the website, link in the description.
Years ago, we shot videos 6 times just because we never do that now, and we just let it run. The one time but
it's kind of funny. I think it's funny.
All right, big time receivers. You got Thomas, Adams, Hill. I can put Julio, Hopkins in that mix, right? A lot of these guys are going first or second round. You got a guy like Thomas. He's number 4 overall. What I want to say about all of these guys is league settings to me will dictate where you're going to take one of these top studs. If I am in a full point PR or a full PPR league, I am bumping them up. I think Thomas is okay at that because he's just going to be a target monster, and I love it. If you're in standard leagues, I actually devalue them a little bit, but still, it's okay to take one of these guys with one of your first 2 picks. The other one, though, I think should be a running back if you do that.
So when you look, kind of moving down to the next tiers of guys, kind of the receivers between picks 20 and 40, I mean, this is where, you definitely, through the first 4 rounds, you probably want to lock up one of these wide receivers and at least just have, even if your league only starts 1 or 2 wide receivers, it's nice to just have that one guy that you can count on. So there's about 11 wide receivers that are going to get drafted between the 20th and 40th pick. And, they're your Cooper Kupps, your Amari Coopers, your Mike Evans. They're not quite at the same level as these other guys, but these are guys that if they're on the field, they will be involved and they will be solid for you in all formats. So, kind of at wide receiver, there's always talent you can find on the wire or later in the draft. So I'm not nearly as worried about getting the wide receivers as I am running backs. But it is nice to at least just lock up one solid guy in the first 4 rounds, I feel, just to kind of as the cornerstone of your wide receiver core.
Yeah, you never want to be digging for 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah, I mean,
digging for 1, you're going to find. It's just annoying doing 2. All right, these are the guys that are going picks 40 through 90. Now, there's a lot. Boss over here was you'll take this gigantic chunk. So how do I break it down if we're going to be real and really show what happens? Let's show what happens.
Break it down, then. Break it down.
So, out of the 40 to 90, I'm putting them in 2 buckets. The young guys with upside and the names that are boring that did okay. That's who you're looking at, 40 to 90. Out of those, I like taking young with upside at this point, right? The DKs, the Ridleys, the Lockett's, the Scary Terrys. Do they take that step forward? However, you do have the other guys, do they maintain, right? Oh, also Sutton's in that. Actually, I do like the young with upside. You do have the maintainers though, right? Like a Gallups, a Cook, an Edelman. Those are names that more people are probably well known and established, but still at this point of the draft, you're going to gobble up a couple of receivers because once you get down to 40 to 90, you have a stable of running backs. So gobble up a couple of these. What I say is go on the youth side if possible.
And that trend continues once you get past the 90th pick and on. We've been talking about it in some of the other videos. How far behind are the rookies going to be this year with not getting all the normal reps that they're getting, not getting the preseason games to really get that timing down and real speed? It is going to be tricky, but kind of what Brent was saying, at this point in the draft, it's still young with upside. But another thing I like to think about too is I would rather have the second or sometimes even third best receiver on a good offense.
I totally agree.
Than locking up the number 1 guy on the Jets on a crappy offense. So keep that in mind too. That's one thing. And also league settings. Does your league give you points for return yards? Is it a full point PPR? because sometimes late in the draft there's some leagues out there that give like a point for every like 10 return yards, which is ridiculous. But know your league settings for that, because sometimes you can find some sneaky wide receivers late with that. But kind of like what Brent was saying too, as well with the young guys, what's more likely? Finding this year's like DJ Shark or AJ Brown or Metcalf or Sutton in those later rounds, or taking a guy like Alshon Jeffrey and hope that he found the fountain of youth during his COVID time.
No, absolutely. With the guys you're talking about after pick 90, you're 100% going youth with upside.
Even if they're rookies.
I just like the guys more in the ADP in mine, but the other non-rookies or younger guys are still pretty good, right? With like deep, like Landry I really like, and Cook's a Gallup, so sorry not to go back to mine. So go ahead and finish yours.
It's all about you. I was pretty much done anyway.
I know you were. You were trailing off. I was saving you. I was throwing you a lifeline.
If you say so.
There you go, boss.
But there's always guys later in the draft. But I haven't completely downgraded the rookies just quite yet. I'm not really sure what the impact's going to be. But I am going to second guess it a little bit. I would probably put kind of those high upside second and third year guys just maybe a little bit higher than some of the rookies.
You have 6 bench spots. You start 2 receivers. How many receivers do you have on your bench?
0.
You're coming out of the draft with no wide receivers on your bench.
This year, probably not, because I would rather have backup plans for running backs with all the weirdness. So I probably, if I only have 5 bench spots and I only start 2 receivers,
0.
I'm probably going to get at least one in the top 40 picks, maybe another one right around there. But I will have 2 guys I'm confident in, and then running back. And
then if one of them gets hurt, you'll go to the wire.
I'll go to the wire.
I just think that's key for the strategy show, right? I'm the same way. It's like, I think a lot of people always feel your bench should be wide receivers and running backs. It should be way more running backs than receivers.
A lot of it depends on how confident am I in my starters. Like, is there even a decision?
Oh, true.
Is there even a decision from week to week? If I get 2 studs,
right? Are you ever going to start?
Yeah, if I'm never going to start a guy, like if I get like, Cooper Kupp and Michael Thomas, like I'm done. Like,
I'm good.
So, yeah, and if they get hurt or COVID or whatever, I'll go to the wire. But this year in particular, and 10-team leagues with small benches, I'm not worried necessarily about a backup wide receiver. And even if that bench receiver breaks out, the trade value isn't like you got DJ Shark. Good job. Like, he had a great year, but you go
he's going to do great on your bench.
You go to try to trade him, and but if you find that running back that has the value, then you can get. So I'm all about trade value with that too. But so that's it. Wide receivers, leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. We're still confident we're going to have football. At least it's going to start, I feel. It's
definitely going to start.
I hope they get all.
Baseball needs to step up and stop infecting teams. That scares me with football.
Well, yeah. We'll see. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Like, subscribe, notifications.
I wasn't looking.